Hey people, this is the Pilgrim, and I'm going to attempt to show you how to make these big Titanosaur platform bases. The first thing you need to do though is change your settings. I'll flip back to an old video and show you how to do that, and then we'll get on with the build. Alright people, it's just a really quick video just to show you what sort of settings I have on Ark, so I can build the big platform bases and things like that. First thing you need to do is go into your PC and then down to local disk, go into program files 86, down to Steam, and from Steam to Steam apps. There you want common, Ark, then shoot a game, then saved, then go to config, and in there you'll find Windows no editor. Go into that, then you want game user settings, and then inside there, if you scroll down right to the bottom, if you're using Castle Keeps and mods, Castle Keeps Forts mod, you can put this one in, and that'll let it so you don't need any foundations for that mod. And then at the bottom, that's for Structures Plus, and that'll let you build foundation ceilings out as far as you want, and you won't need any sort of support for them. I also changed the max structures in range to about 150k, just so you don't run into any problems when you're putting, when you're building something massive. And I also did the, which one was it? The platform max structures multiplier. I put that up to 19. That just lets me build ridiculous amounts of stuff onto platforms. When you're building Titan bases and stuff like that. Yeah, so that's the settings I use. Right, now you've got them settings sorted, you'll be able to build plenty on the platform, be able to build really far out from the sides because of the no foundations. Yeah, people have been asking for this for about 6 months, asking me, how you build it and what the settings are and stuff, and I've always said, I'll do it, but the whole thing's pretty impractical. I mean, once you're on board, you can move around. I'll flick to a video now and show you. Like with this build, like once was on board, everything works fine. You can use it like a proper art base. But once you start sort of moving the things, depending on how much sort of building structures you've got on it, how much decor you've put into the build, your FPS is going to drop considerably. There's still a lot of fun to build and a lot of fun to live on as well, especially like if you're in single player. You mess around with your settings and you can do what you want. Probably be quite difficult to find on an unofficial server that's running these sort of settings, but with a few of these things running around on a server, I think it'd cause mayhem. I'm running a 4.4 gigahertz 8-core AMD, 16 gig of RAM, and a GTX 1060 6GB. Running around here now, I'm getting like say between 30 and 25 FPS. Once the thing starts moving, it's dropping to like 10 or 15, something like that. What I've done on the build later on, I've put the FPS up on screen, so as I'm building I sort of backed off and then had a quick look to show you what the FPS was and how it was dropping the more I was putting on. But yeah, once it's built, you're fine to live on it. It's pretty cool. I mean, it's no different from having a big base, to be honest. And this is what it's going to look like when you're moving around. You can see it's choppy, but like I said, if you're on single player and it doesn't bother you, still a decent build. But yeah, it does get a little messy. Right, platforms all painted up and attached. I've got the Titanosaur to some relatively flat ground, so it makes it a little easier to place things. First thing we've got to do is get the foundation, so I get it as straight as possible. I find the best way to do it is when you look at the green lines on the foundation, if you get the one at the left lined up, where you see that strip of metal with the big rivets in it, get it about halfway into there, line it up with one of the other platform sections there, and then basically what you do is wait for it to breathe. As it breathes in, you'll see the foundation sort of twist slightly, and you just want to try and get it as it sort of breathes out, I'll show you. That's not worked. Yeah. When it breathes out, you want to sort of snap it just at that moment. You sort of see get it lined up with the rivets. Then there's that breath, and then snap. That should be good enough. I mean, it's not going to be perfect, you know, once you've gone around the whole sort of outside of the platform. You'll see probably, you know, it's slightly out, but the thing's that big you can barely tell anyway. And if you look, the whole thing's sort of covered now. Boxed the whole platform in. None of it's showing, so it's about as good as it's going to get. You see, that's pretty straight actually. Right, that's that bit. Right, you want to grab yourself some ceilings and walls, and I'm going to start building basically down the side of this one, just to show you sort of how far you can build out once you've got them settings in. The scaffolding walls there are from Castle Keeps and Forts Medieval Architecture mod, and they'll snap straight to an S Plus foundation like that. So get your wall built, build some platforms out, and then here you can build out basically that many. You know, it's a fair distance until you sort of hit the too far away from platform. If you try that sort of without them settings, you can only go maybe 2 or 3 from the actual platform itself. So that's a pretty fair distance depending on what you want to build. I don't usually build that far out. I try and keep them looking so they at least look like they're balanced. With S Plus it's exactly the same. You know, but with S Plus you've got to build a wall on top of the foundation and snap one below it. Like that. Then you can remove that top wall afterwards. This is how far you can build past the back. Again, pretty decent amount really. Then out from the side as well. Plus with those settings, because you've got no foundations on, you can actually sort of get rid of platform sections in between and just have full floating sections like that there. That's totally free floating, but it will follow the platform round. It won't, you know, you can still build on it and stuff. Sort of extra platforms at the back of it. That's about as far as you can build out there. Just get rid of that. And then if you want extra rooms inside, sort of right next to the Titanosaur, you can build like this. I've done it on Bronto builds before, where there's sort of extra rooms underneath the platform. Look pretty cool. So you could have this platform built out like that at the back. And then one up from that, you could build another platform. You can actually run around inside there. I think if you go any higher, you can't sort of run through the platform. It's as far as down as it goes. Yeah, so quite a few people have asked how far you can build out from them, so that's it. Sort of as far as you can build out from the corner as well. Right, next bit. Here I just wanted to show you just the normal vanilla building structures. It's not S Plus or anything, so it's not got the settings on for the no foundations. You can build as far down as you want, but once you start trying to build out, you can only build like 2 ceilings out, and that's it. That'll be basically all the way around. So stick a couple of foundations down there just to show you. Look, it's like, that's as far as you're gonna get, so just so you know. Okay, on the other platform we had from before, I've cleared it out a bit. I'm gonna snap a Castle Keeps foundation to the one we've already got placed, so it's all pretty much straight. Just go around the whole place and then we'll start building one side of that. Right, I've got some foundations down, and what I'll do, I'll put the FPS up, and then we can keep an eye out when we're building. That's my settings. Got everything on epic. Resolution is right up. I'm playing in Windows mode, windowed mode, because I'm usually watching something on my second screen. Right, to get the FPS up, just put in stat FPS. It's up there on the right hand corner. You see it hovers around 30 to 35, I think. Sort of looking out across the whole place. Graphics whacked right the way up. When you're moving around, it gets a little better actually, at this point anyway. Right, I'll add some structure to the side of the base now. Oh, this is just me covering up the last bit of metal. Put some ceilings down and snap some foundations underneath. Got the whole thing boxed in then. Gather up all the bits I needed. Just put this onto like 7 times speed or something like that, and you can slow the video down with YouTube if you want, if you really want to follow it. Yeah, I'm gonna build like a stone castle facade. See, the FPS is hovering all over the place actually, like 24, dropped to 19 for a split second, and it's back up to around 30 odd. With them sections there, because it's on the platform and it's constantly moving, some of the walls, the curved walls and stuff like that, they just don't want to snap in position, so they sort of fluctuate, flicker. Sometimes if you press E, it'll snap to the right position, but most of the time you just got to sort of wait until it's at the right spot and then just tap and hope you get it. That's why it's good having S+, because you can get the demo gun and just shoot it, get it straight back instead of wasting resources. So up to there we're still around, what, about 30, 24, 30, whatever. It's not bad. Right, getting back in position, and I'll carry on building. And this section is just basically a big flat blank wall. I like putting windows in there sometimes, especially on the lower levels, so you can sort of see out. And like I showed you before as well, you can build extra rooms, maybe even stairwells and stuff behind that wall. Keep it all out of the way. Gonna build a couple of towers on either corner, so you could run spiral staircases up them, but what I decided to do was run some staircases up the actual wall, just to fill it all in a bit. So depending on what you're going for, on my other build I had that section as like a bit of a stables. There was barracks above it, so I had all my beds and stuff, and then below that there was the stables. I had like a Carno and some parasaurs, some raptors in there, and the dinosaurs stay pretty stable. You know, once you start walking around, you can move plenty of stuff around in it, in the base. You just got to watch for like clipping through trees and cliffs, because it'll basically just drag dinosaurs straight off the platform, but you probably already know about that. The FPS still pretty even actually, it's not too bad. There's a couple little spots where it drops. Like like I said, the more decor you place, basically the more items you've got in one little space, and once you try to move it, the game just isn't happy about it. Let's check out that FPS again. So still hovering around 30 odd, 30 to the sides, but once you're on board now, it's starting to drop a little bit. But it's still not a problem yet. Still get around nice and easy. Right, let's carry on with this tower here. What I wanted to do above this was have like a floating section of the tower above it. I thought about doing it on a few of the Titanosaur builds before, I just never got around to it. Basically I'm just going to use them walls to get up to the height I wanted, place a ceiling, get the little platform down for it, and you can just remove those walls. Basically have something floating. Just went over to here to some eco decor and grabbed some hedges. Just going to build a little garden around the bottom of the castle structure and a little bit on top. Just typed in a command there just to get some fibre in. Do that just instead of using normal walls or whatever. Add a bit of colour to it. Put these sections in so you can sort of see out all the time. That bit you can walk out onto, so it's like a bit of a veranda. Now we've got the extra walls and the hedges and stuff, the FPS is starting to drop a little. There are little spots sort of where you get like a spike and it drops quite low. But overall it's not too bad at the moment. Just use these sections just to finish off those ceilings there, sort of block it and it looks a little more finished. Now so use them to add a bit of sort of structure inside so it looks like it's being held up by something. And some battlements. You can drop them in like that so it hides the ceiling just underneath that gap, but it's up to you. This bit here, the triangle bit of ceiling didn't want to go in, basically, and it just kept flicking where it wanted to go. Right, so there's a bit more in, and the FPS is dropping. You can see it there. So it's still not bad, and once you're inside, like living in the thing, you're not taking the entire build whilst you're walking around, so it's not too bad. There's that little floating tower I wanted to build. Just use the material change gun there with that comes with the castle keeps and forts mod. Like literally every single piece of these structures can be changed into different things like wood, obsidian. There's a lava effect. I'll throw that on the tower in a second, so you can see the FPS dropping a little bit more there, like a little burning tower. But there's loads you could do with it. I want to build like an Egyptian theme one with like a floating pyramid in the middle, and that'll look pretty cool. You know, you can really sort of see the FPS dropping now when you're moving around. And that's just like with one side built. But still, I mean, if you wasn't watching the FPS and you're just walking around, it's not even that bad. To be honest, I barely notice it when I'm playing. Most people that play Ark should be used to it by now, to be honest. Okay, so that is the basics of building one of these big Titanosaur bases. I'm not going to finish the whole thing off because I haven't really got that much of a plan of what I wanted to do, but that gives you sort of a starting point. You know, you've got the settings down, there's a few little techniques there, a couple of little ideas. What I'll do, I'll run through the winter trader base. I've got a load of screenshots of that, sort of how I built it up bit by bit. I think that's a bit more interesting. But yeah, there you go. Hope that's helped some people out that were asking about it. Just kind of a quick look at the other Titanosaur builds I did. This is the Desert Trader. This was the first one that I did. It's a big mixture of castle keeps and forts and S+ for the main structure. But I just wanted to show, like, I can run around on this just fine, no problems. And there's a lot of, well, yeah, quite a lot of decor on this build. Plus I think that fires, torches and stuff also make a big difference to the FPS. And the landscape isn't that sort of intensive, so it's probably had an easier time running it. But yeah, it's a great build this. This is what sort of caught everyone's attention. I think it's had nearly 20,000 views now. It's like the best video I've got. But I really enjoy building these things. A lot of people like the idea around it as well, just having like a completely nomadic base, being able to just travel around the Ark. And it is, I mean, very PvE orientated. Plus you gotta be careful as well. If you're using a lot of S+ and a lot of wood and you get attacked by any dinosaurs, it's going to total arc your base. So it's best to keep a few dinosaurs running alongside with you. But yeah, like you can see, perfect running around there, no problems. And then this one was the big Faithbringer Titan. This was all built with castle keeps, like 99% of it. The idea behind this one was, like, if you had your whole tribe, like a full community, you'd have like your village here hanging off the side. There's loads of different sections in there. You've got like a bit of a docking place at the bottom to bring all your food and supplies on board. This level was like a bar section. There's all rooms on the floor below this, like a bit of a barracks sort of thing. And then this is the dock section down here. I had some horses and raptors in there. And that bit with the drawbridge at the bottom of the castle side, that's where I had the Carnos and some more raptors and yeah, different dinosaurs you can fit in there. So sort of like, you got your castle for defence, then the church, which was like sort of a meeting area, then the village on the other side. Below the church there's an extra floor. You can't really see it from the outside, but that's got all the production on it. Like kitchens and smithies and all that sort of bits and pieces you'd need. That big organ at the right hand side, that was from Steampunk Mod. I like that one. Got libraries, I always stick libraries in these builds. I was just checking out the sort of bloom effects, the lighting coming through the building there. And there's a lot of garden decor on here from eco mods as well. Yeah, the Desert Trader build was sort of ramshackled, like it had been built by different people over years and years, and I wanted this build to look like it had been built for purpose, basically. Right, this is the Winter Trader. Probably one of my favourite builds up to now, to be honest. I had an idea of sort of like a pirate place, like a Tortuga, like it had been built up with all bits of ships and whatever else they'd found. Had like the separate buildings hanging from the back section under that platform, and that was another sort of big idea I wanted to put into it, and it just sort of got built around that. But I've got a ton of screenshots that sort of go through each step of the build, so I can just sort of talk through that as I'm going. That was the easiest bit to do, just get the foundations down on it. It's all done in mostly S+, castle keeps again. What I did with this section was I put a foundation down in the middle and ran the platforms off there from Platforms Plus, just to get that big section at the back. I started building them stone walls in. I had a sort of different idea at that point, but I changed it. Left that platform section in. Decided to use more wood. And that's sort of how I built each level. I just built a few walls and then built each section how I wanted the platforms before I put any walls in place to sort of cover it all up. The buildings at the back I used S+ glass and just removed the frames and then run the rope ladders down so it looked like the buildings were just hanging there. Sort of see it there. You can sort of click on the S+ glass and it's just got all different bits where you can pick which side of the metal you want showing, so I just got rid of all of them. So that's basically what's holding them in place. Yeah, and then ran the rope ladders up. That looks like well, yeah, I think it looked like they were sort of hanging off the back. There's another view of all the ceilings are placed. That was just to basically build up the different levels for the different rooms that I wanted. So there was no set plan, I just sort of built them out and then made them look like they were part of the structure. And I started putting some of the walls in there. They're from the villager part of Castle Keeps. Then using some more S+ to fill in some of the sections around the front. Sort of production areas, and not started building down off the side yet. That was going to be part of the docks, so the right hand side was the docks, and that was like where all the shipments would come on. That blue pillar there is from S+, you can sort of angle them whichever way you want. I wanted it to be like a crane picking a mammoth up, so that was the idea behind that. I've filled in some more sections of wall there, sort of see it coming together. Built that tower down the left hand side, that's going to connect up to the docks. Oh, I've just put a lot of pillars in there just to give the corners some structure, make it look like it's more stable. That's the back section. I was building more production there, I wanted furnaces and stuff on top of that bit, and like an apartment below it. Sort of see that coming together, and that extra platform over there, I wanted that to look like a sort of, not Victorian, sort of Ark Edwardian building with the black and the white. The black wood and the white plaster. I think that always looks pretty cool. That was going to be like me throne room for the guy in charge, captain. Got some spiral staircases in, started connecting everywhere up, putting some railings around. Same again there. Sort of see it getting built up. That bit where you can see the little slats and the triangle roof right in the middle, I wanted that to be like a featherlight Avra. You can sort of see it really coming together now, with the extra railings and all the details, sort of building it up bit by bit. Once some of the main rooms on the top level were finished, I started putting chimneys and some forges in and stuff. Just thought it looked good with all the smoke coming out, with it being like the cold weather one, keeping everywhere warm. Good screenshot, you can see all the different levels there. I started building that left hand side now. And on this bit I wanted to have like a little stables for my wolves, and also a place for like livestock, so I could build a kitchen next to it and everything. That's what's down that side mainly. That hexagonal section sticking off from the right hand side, that was like a war room. I put like maps in there and some big chairs around and globes and stuff, so sort of plan things out. That's the stables. Shot of the mist rolling in. Yeah, this was just some interior shots when I started putting all the decor in. That's the mammoth crane on the right hand side. What I did with that, I just built out from the side, put some glass ceilings in, and removed the sections and just sat the mammoth on the glass ceiling so it looked like he was hanging off the side from the crane. There you go, that's got a load of lighting in, some skull torches, some little awnings. There's a shop there on the left hand side, started putting more structure in. There's a little bar area, it's buried deep inside the base somewhere. Like, there's so many rooms and so many like little corridors and stuff when I finished this place. There was quite a lot to fill in. There's the featherlight Avra. It worked out really well, that little bit there. I thought it looked cool. You see all the smoke coming out of the chimneys and stuff now. It looks like it's more lived in. There's my wolves. They were easy enough to get up there with an arger. Just dropped them into the side and rode them in. I've got my griffins on board and a bunch of other animals now. There you go, that's pretty much the finished product. So it's one of my favourite builds, this. That's a shot from like the main deck of the place. Yeah, and that's the finished thing, the Winter Trader. Yeah, I reckon the video overall sort of explains how I sort of get these things built, and I think there's enough pictures there to sort of go off and see how like each section's built up, and some different ideas in there, and we covered the settings, and yeah, I think that's about it. So people have been asking this for this video for a while, so if you've got any questions or any comments about it, or you want me to make anything more detailed, just leave us something in there in the comments in YouTube and I'll get back to you. But yeah, I hope that was good enough for what people were asking for, and thanks for watching.